Oh, I'm back. Hello, it's me, GhostCritic. For those who have been following me on Twitter over the last week, you will realise I've not had the internet at all. And I don't know if this has ever happened to anyone before. If you've unintentionally gone without the internet, I don't know what I've done with myself for the last week, to be honest. I've played Lego Batman 2 a lot. I've finished the main story and now I'm going back to collect all the goodies to go with it and all the characters. But I've been quite at a loss without my internet. Went a little bit crazy after I think day 3. It's not a nice feeling, it really isn't. But I'm back finally, and because I haven't done a review show or I haven't done any videos at all this week, it's all getting bundled into this big vlog video, so I apologise if this goes on a bit, but like I always say, you don't have to watch it all at once. So, what shall we start with? I think we'll start with a bit of a haul. Obviously, me not having the internet, I decided to spend money instead that I don't really have. So, let's begin with a 9-issue miniseries from DC Vertigo back in '93. You'll currently see, if you're collecting Justice League Dark, you will know of this character. Maybe you didn't know that there was stuff before it. This actual series, it wasn't actually the one I thought it was, but still, I'm going to read it. I'll enjoy it because I like the character. But it is Black Orchid. Hopefully you can see that cover because these covers are fantastic, but they don't show it very well. So yes, we've got Black Orchid from 1993 by Dick Foreman and Jill Thompson. So that's issue 1. Issue 2. Issue 3. Some really nice covers. I don't know how well they're going to really show up on here. 4. Issue 5. Issue 6. I thought I was getting it could be the very first one or it could be one after this, but it was all, funny enough, it was painted. This isn't like a painted artwork, but all the artwork in the series that I actually won was like a painted artwork. It was very abstract. There's number 8, and finally number 9. It was just a 9-issue run, so I have all those, so I'll be looking forward to reading those very soon. I tend not to go in this shop because every time I go in there, there's nothing new and I've picked out everything that I've wanted, so this is why I kind of tend to leave it a bit and then go back and see if there's anything new. It's kind of like a thrift antique store, and it literally has this one box of comics, and it can't be any bigger than, I don't know, a shoebox, and it has it full of comics. So they had a nice little run of Daredevil. Series I've been interested in. I mean, I love Daredevil anyway. I started collecting it with the Marvel Knights, and almost completed that collection now. But before it, I've read bits and bobs. But it'd be nice to have quite a few more of these. So Daredevil 226, 227, 228. 229, and we jump on a bit to issue 250, 251, 258, 272, 273, and these were all really cheap, so it was good to pick these up. 275, part of the Age of Vengeance storyline that went across Marvel. This isn't in that great a condition. There's lots of indentations in the cover, unfortunately, but 276. And then finally there was a copy of Strange Tales featuring Cloak and Dagger and Doctor Strange. So 2 characters, well 3 characters that I enjoy a lot, so I thought I'd pick that up just as an extra little bit. And when I was picking up my comics this week, he said he'd got a bunch of Silver Age stuff come in, and he said he'd put it aside for me to have a look through. And there were a couple of Fantastic Fours at a reasonable price for the condition they were in. So I have Fantastic Four issue 91 and issue, oh, we go back a bit the wrong way round, issue 80. So I've got a couple more from the Silver Age of Fantastic Four. I'm very happy about. So that was the haul. Now, the news, coming a bit late to talk about it, but it is out there and I'm going to say something about it. Marvel Now. Oh God. They're relaunching some of their titles. Now, didn't DC say they were relaunching their comics, but it was basically a reboot? How far are Marvel going to take this? I don't know. Could they not have done something just a little bit more original than... It's not like we've forgotten that DC have just rebooted. Yes, they're just coming up to a year, but you know, we still realise DC have just rebooted their universe. You doing a relaunch, it just smacks of unoriginality, and what makes it worse is the titles that they are supposedly relaunching are all Avengers titles. Oh, will you give it up with the Avengers? Oh, Uncanny X-Men, which is hilarious. It's just, you know, what's it up to, about issue 8 or 9? After it being, you know, cancelled from its huge run, which could have still kept going. There was no need to restart that issue 1, but they're cancelling it. It's gone. And instead we're getting Uncanny Avengers. Really? I know Marvel will never do this. DC would never do this. But would it be an interesting idea if, like, you only got 1 X-Men title, 1 Avengers title, 1 Spider-Man title, not like, oh, 1 Batman title. Let's not be Marvel specific here. 1 Batman title, say, 1 Superman title, just 1 title for each of your characters. And if you want to put them in a team and do like a Justice League or an Avengers, just 1 book. And then give your other characters a chance to shine in other titles of their own. I'd like to see another Doctor Strange ongoing. I know, and I'll talk about it in a minute when I do a little bit of a review, but wouldn't it be great to have a new Man-Thing title come out, an ongoing, instead of this limited series they're doing? Just bring out some of your other characters, give them a chance for people to recognise them and get enticed and intrigued and excited about them, other than just jumping on, oh great, Avengers did really well in the cinema, it was a great film, oh we've done really well, let's throw out tons of Avengers books, let's saturate the market and everyone can be really bored. I for one will not be picking up any Avengers books, so don't expect me to see reviewing those anytime soon. Yeah, I'm not impressed. Marvel, you could have done better. There was nothing wrong with what you were doing, and it is just purely a business move. Apparently you did okay last month in, you know, the shares of DC to Marvel. I think it was almost, you know, kind of a 50-50 split. But how about forget what DC are doing, just put out good stories. We'll buy them. We don't need to know what DC are doing. Just do good stories. That's all I ask. Marvel Now. So I didn't do a review show this week, and I guess I should talk about what I picked up just briefly. And in a kind of if you're familiar with the JMac Experience channel, he does a 1 word or less review show. Some of them aren't just 1 word, so, and I can't do it in 1 word. So some might have more than 1 word, but I'm going to be really quickly with these reviews. Apart from I want to pick up on one thing in one of the titles, which I'll do after it. And we start with issue 11, Batman Detective Comics, Clone Saga. The Amazing Spider-Man, improving. Punisher, old school. The Infernal Man Thing, psychedelic. Animal Man, brutal. And finally, pick of the week, Morning Glories, double crossed. Just quickly about pick of the week, anything you ever thought was right and you could trust from previous issues completely gets thrown out the window in this issue, and just made it that much more exciting. I cannot believe what Nick Spencer's just done with this story. Please pick up the trades, get on board with Morning Glories, because it's just a fantastic read. Now, just going back to one of the issues, and it is one of my bugbears, it's my pet hate about comics, and you know, this is why sometimes I find it difficult reviewing, doing my review show, in that I don't want to spoil too much of the story. But, and spoilers I try and say when I'm about to spoil something. But spoilers are everywhere in the comic book community, or on comic book sites, everywhere. And I do try my damnedest not to read them. I don't read previews, the previews books or anything like that, because it just sets you up for stuff that's going to happen in the future, and I don't want to know. I want to pick up whatever copy I've got and read it and be surprised. Now, I don't mind teasers as such. And in this instance, what bit I'm going to talk about, it was Amazing Spider-Man, and the teaser that they did a few weeks ago, or probably a month ago now, and it was this Who is Alpha. I would have been fine with them just saying that, Who is Alpha. You don't need to give us any more information. We just know, oh, something big, something exciting is going to happen in Amazing Spider-Man in the next few months' time, and it's to do with this Alpha. That's all I would have needed. But of course, more news comes out, and we find out now it's going to be a sidekick. And then we go on a little bit further, and they have to put up the first, say, 4 or 5 pages of this issue of Amazing Spider-Man that's coming in the future. And you get the first 5 pages, so you know the story, or at least the first 5 pages of the story already. Why? We're going to buy it. If you tease us enough, if you make it interesting, the premise, this mysterious Alpha, I'll buy into it and I'll see what it is. You don't need to bombard us with this. Now, Amazing Spider-Man 689. While I just said it's improving, because it was a much better, exciting, interesting read, one part of it really annoyed me, and this is to do with the spoilers. And it's when they're in the laboratory and Morbius has just gone schizo with the bloodlust, and he's bitten the woman, and Uatu wants to go in and give it all Blade type action, and Amazing Spider-Man Peter Parker goes way over the top, and he's like, kids, stay the hell out of this. And he goes off, and his first inner monologue is, you know, he doesn't want a sidekick. He doesn't need a sidekick. That would have been a lovely, subtle moment to have gone back to if we hadn't already known that, yeah, he's going to get a sidekick in about 3 or 4 issues' time. It was wasted because we already know, and it just spoils that moment. And I just think you might as well not have written it. It annoyed me. It annoyed me. I hate spoilers. I try and just remove myself from them. Sorry, rant over. Moving on. I believe I won a contest. At least that's what I've been told on Twitter. I think I've won my Minutia Minutes mystery bag of comics. As soon as I've done this video and uploaded it, I'll be off to see myself win that. It'll be a bit anticlimactic because I'll know I've won, but seeing my name pulled out or whatever will be quite exciting. So I'd just like to say in advance, thank you, Sean, for pulling my name out of the bag, the hat, whatever. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting that package. I don't know what happened. Remember in my last vlog I was moaning about the YouTube homepage and the fact that you can't delete videos you've already watched? They've changed it. They've changed it. I have the power. YouTube listened to me, obviously. But despite the fact I still don't like the layout, it looks very strange. You can now, it says hide, but they just go, they disappear from your homepage. So finally, now that I can, I've watched a video, I can take it out of my feed on my homepage and make sure that I don't miss out on anyone else's. Great, finally. So I was really pleased about that. What else? Fine, well, almost fine, I guess. If you were watching on the CCC on Monday, my comic book question of the week, I did tell you all I was rereading, because I do this kind of yearly, rereading Neil Gaiman's The Sandman. And I just thought, I've read the first one, Reflections and Nocturnes, and this is basically the story of how Sandman gets captured by this group of occultists back in the 1900s. Where was it? 1916. They bring forth and capture a dream. They were trying to capture death but got a dream instead. The whole book is about well, Dream's escape and him getting back all his possessions, I guess. And there is just some great storytelling in here. But what I thought I'd just do is quickly say, for each volume I read, I'm going to just quickly talk about kind of my favourite story from within it. Because the great thing about Sandman is, even though you have kind of like this overreaching arc in each volume, you do get as well, to break it all up kind of, but they do still kind of fit together as well as one big story. They have these like kind of standalone stories, which are often fun to, well, they're always fun to read. I really love these little diversions, these little digressions Neil Gaiman did, and they all, like I say, fit in to either that story arc or a later story arc or an earlier one. So I just thought for each volume I'll quickly just go over the best of that volume, and for Preludes and Nocturnes it's always got to be the final chapter, which is The Sound of Her Wings. You've gone through all the fights, the trips to hell, to reclaim his possessions, and finally get all his power back, Dream's power back. And you see him kind of, he's got everything back now, but he still feels kind of empty. He doesn't really know what to do now, and he gets visited by his sister, Death, and Death is just such a cool character. Given, I don't want this to sound sexist in any way, but the fact that it is a woman it's his sister. There's just this element of fun and humour about it, and death, you expect it to be this, you know, this hooded skeletal creature, but instead you've got like this kind of emo goth chick, and she really does kind of kick Dream up the ass, because he's just sitting there feeling sorry for himself and not realising the fact that, you know, all this time he's been captured, because it goes on for decades, where he is trapped by this occult group. He doesn't think that anyone else is worried about him, and Dream just takes him for a bit of a walk. She goes around the world, different places, getting ready to take people to the kind of the other side, these people who are just about to die, and it's just such a kind of bittersweet moments of people dying, from the very old to the almost newborn, and there is just like that kind of sweet moment, I guess, of the baby. The mother puts her down in the cot and she walks away to get her feed or whatever, and it's already dead, and it's just like the baby is just talking as normally to death, and says, but is that all there was? Is that all I get? And death just says, yes, I'm afraid so. And it's just this kind of fragility of life, and this kind of not knowing how long you've got, and for each moment, each second, each minute, each day you have, just use it to the fullest. Don't sit there on your laurels thinking, you know, my time is coming, watching the clock tick away. It's just a beautifully written story, and for so early on in this fantastic run of Neil Gaiman's to be that powerful of a story and have that much effect already on, just sets up for amazingly brilliant more stories in the future, and there are. I'm just currently about halfway through now, The Doll's House, and it's just all fantastic. So anyway, I think that'll do. I am back now. I've got my internet back. Oh, phew. Thank you to everyone who chatted to me on Twitter, and thank you Howler Mouse for offering to do a video to tell everybody that I had no internet, but I'm back. That's all I can say, and thank God. I know it sounds quite stupid of me to get so upset and so frustrated without having internet, but really just try it. 4 days without being able to go on the internet. And to be honest, it's a good job I was in yesterday afternoon, because the guy from BT, the company that I get my phone through, just turned up out of the blue. No one called me. No one left me an email or a well, there'd be no point sending me an email because I wouldn't have got it. But no text message to say they were coming, and it was just lucky I was there and I hadn't gone out. Otherwise, God knows when they'd have been there. But I'm back! And with that, I bid you adieu, and more videos to come. Take care.